It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
It's showtime, and it is election day. What's happening, everybody? My name is Geno Jones. Okay, yeah, I know. You figured that out, right? You're like, dude, we not slow. We can read. Well, maybe not everybody. Yes, I am Geno Jones. This is the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, right? Every weekday, 5 days a week, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. So do me a favor. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. Do me a favor, a bigger favor. Tell everybody, or as the birthday boy would say, Cornell Hayes Jr. Oh, you don't know who that is? I'll tell you in a second. I'll give you a clue. He'll say, like, everybody. Tell everybody you know to subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. Please share this and every episode and like all my episodes. All right. And by the way, if you'd like to be a sponsor of the Geno Jones Show, if you'd like to advertise, I'd love to have you as an advertiser. I'd love to have you as a sponsor. I would love to be your pitch man. Come join the Geno Jones Show family. Let me just say this with all humility and modesty. If you're looking for the ultimate pitch man or brand ambassador to build your brand, your business, to help generate sales and revenue, to help you move your products, your goods, your services, I'm the king of pitchmen. Yes, I am. And Muhammad Ali said, it ain't bragging if you can back it up. And I can back it up. If you don't believe me, reach out to me. Leave me a message right here on my YouTube channel. Or you can email me, GenoJonesShow@gmail. No, the GenoJonesShow@gmail. Let me start the show off today. I got birthdays. Today's birthday. So if you are a fan of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta from back in the day, Stevie J, Mr. Stevie J, who, by the way, a lot of people don't know, Stevie J is a Grammy Award-winning producer. He was really, back in the day, in the 90s, he was working with Diddy, Sean, Puffy, Diddy, P. Daddy, whatever. I know he changes his name like every 30 minutes. I love you, Diddy. Pick one. I know it's your name, it's you, but help a brother out. Just pick one. Which is it today? Diddy, Love, I don't know. Anyway, so he worked with Puffy back in the day with Bad Boy. He produced like a lot of the big hits. Only You. He did that. More Money, More Problems, and a whole lot more. Stevie J is a big 5-0 today. All right, boy. I see you, Stevie J. Oh, now I was talking about Cornell Hayes Jr. Oh, wait a minute. You're like, who's Cornell Hayes Jr.? Nelly. That's right. Mr. Everybody. Nelly is 47 today. Happy birthday, Nelly. Killing the game. Nelly is killing the game. My man, I'm not mad at you. And I got a very special birthday, but I'm going to do that at the end of the show because I don't know if I can, I don't want to lose it. It's very personal, but I got a very special birthday wish and a very special birthday to a very, very, very special person who's celebrating a birthday today. I promise. Stick around for the end of the show. I'll tell you who it is. All right, today is election day all across America. They call them off-year elections. Here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro, with some of the smaller towns, cities, they have elections for mayor. City of Charleston, they have 3 city council races. I cannot say this enough. It is so important. It is so important that you vote in every election. And the people that are closest to you are the ones that have the biggest impact and the biggest effect on your life every day. I know we focus on the presidency, the race for the president of the United States and who's going to be our senators and who's going to represent us in the House of Representatives. Yes, that is crucial. And they make decisions that affect our lives every day. But the people who make even more decisions and really affect your life in big and small ways, or as Nelly would say, every day, are the people right there in your city, in your town, in your county, in your state. City council persons, councilmen, councilwomen, aldermen, alderwomen, your mayors, your governors. Guess who? Mayors, in most cases. Who do you think picks and hires a police chief? The mayor. District attorneys. If you have a case of police brutality, God forbid, another situation like my man George Floyd, you got police departments that engage in police brutality, out of control. Well, who do you think hires the police chief that runs the police department? In most cases, it's your mayor. It's your district attorneys. If you want to get rogue cops who engage in police brutality and shoot innocent 12-year-old kids like Tamir Rice, who's just playing with a toy gun, and he roll up and within less than 2 seconds, without asking any question, they shoot a kid with a toy gun, a 12-year-old boy, and say you thought he was a grown man? Really? Are you tired of hearing those stories? Well, please understand that the mayor, your mayor, in most cases, hires your police chief. You worried about being like Benton Harbor, Michigan, or Flint, Michigan, lead in your drinking water, poisoning you and your children and your family? Your governors and the people that represent you in your state legislature. I had State Representative Crystal Matthews here in South Carolina. South Carolina State Representative Crystal Matthews, who is going to be our next United States Senator here in South Carolina. She'll be representing the state. She's going to run against Tim Scott, who's running now. He's running for re-election. If they don't decide to try to see if they can get him to run for president, the whole MAGA, the MAGA cult can get him to run for president or maybe vice president to say, see, we're not a racist. Look, we've got a Negro. See? He's smiling. We're not racist. Do not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Do not. So, now, there's a lot that's happened since President Biden's been in office, about 10 months. And I hear the conversations, I hear the chatter in the barbershops and the hair salons, and I see it on my social media feeds. People leave me message, especially now. Right now, I want to talk to my brothers and sisters, to Black America, to my Afro-Latino brothers, to my Latinx brothers and sisters, to some of my anti-racist, to all of my anti-racist white brothers and sisters, Native American, indigenous brothers and sisters, my Asian American brothers and sisters that are anti-racist. There are people that want you to be discouraged. They say, well, man, the Democrats can't get nothing done. Man, they've been in office, and we didn't get the George Floyd's Justice and Policing Act passed yet. We haven't even gotten voting rights passed yet. They got the laws written up, but we haven't gotten it passed yet. And we're still trying to get these laws, this whole Build Back Better, this whole deal, free, universal pre-K. That's like universal preschool, not daycare, universal preschool for every, or as Nelly would say, every child in America, irregardless of what the child looks like, irregardless of how much money that parent does or does not have. Universal pre-K, preschool for your 3 and 4 year olds before they go to kindergarten. Home health care. You've got an elderly parent that needs help. You may have an elderly parent, you can't afford it, they can't afford it. Somebody to come over and clean up their house because physically they're not able to mop and sweep and vacuum anymore. They can't clean up their home or apartment. somebody to come in and prepare meals for them 3-4 days a week, somebody that can go with them to their doctor's appointments, someone that can go to your local neighborhood pharmacy, your Walgreens or CVS or whatever your pharmacy is, and pick up medicine for your elderly parent or grandparent. Money for that. Yes, that's part of what President Biden is trying to get passed. For those that are getting the child tax credit, so in about 2 weeks, there are going to be millions of Americans that's going to see an extra anywhere from $200 to $300 per child in their bank account, directly deposited. So some families are going to see $500, $600, $800, $900, $1,200, depending on how many children they have. A child tax credit that has taken over 40% of children out of poverty. I think over 40% of black children in America was taken out of poverty starting in July. This money has made so much. There's some people watching me right now who, before July, before you started receiving those child tax credits, you were living not even paycheck to paycheck. You were borrowing money. You had to get in debt with check advances and trying to borrow money and figure out, okay, what bill am I going to pay? I got 3 or 4 final notices. So I got to keep the lights on. But if I keep the lights on, I don't have enough money to pay the phone bill. I'm short on my rent, but if I pay all that, I don't have enough money to buy food for the rest of the month. So by the middle of the month, I run out of money for food. We have to go to a food bank. I don't have enough money to buy medicine for me or my child to last for the entire month. So I have to split the medicine in half because I don't have enough money to buy enough medicine to last for 30 days or 31 days. But that child tax credit money that you're getting, it has changed your life. It's changed the life of, if not you, a family member. Changed the life of your sister, your brother, your nieces, your nephews, maybe your grandchildren. You don't have the money. Grandparents, you don't have the money because you're on a fixed income. And we're trying to get you help. You need help. You need someone to come into your home and help prepare meals for you and to clean up your house and to take you to the doctor, go with you to your doctor's appointments and to go pick up your medicine or maybe to go grocery shopping for you. That is what President Biden, his bill, one of his bills, Build Back Better, that's what he is trying to do. And that is what none of the Republicans, none of the MAGA crowd, they don't give a damn about you and your children. I don't care what you look like. So to my white brothers and sisters, especially the MAGA crowd, the MAGA cult, that's living in poverty, that's damn near living in poverty, they don't give a damn about you. I bet you're getting that child tax credit. You probably voted for Orange Hitler, but you're taking that child tax credit money from President Biden, aren't you? I know you are. And you want that check, you want that money to keep hitting your bank account every month. Well, if President Biden doesn't get some help, you got 2 more checks around the 15th of November and the 15th of December, and that's it. What are the Republicans? What's the MAGA cult trying to do? And then you've got 2, not 1, but 2 so-called Democrats. So let me just explain something. Let me cut through the chase. Today's election day. So really you got about 46 Democratic senators. You have 2 who vote with the Democrats, who are independents. You have Bernie Sanders, who identifies as an independent. He votes and meets with the Democrats, as they say, caucuses. And then you have Senator Angus King, who is an independent, but he votes, or caucuses, as they say, with the Democrats. Then we have two people who, on paper, says they are Democrats. I call them Goofy and Grumpy. Goofy, Senator Kristen Sinema, because she looks goofy with the big old wide frame, look like giant picture frame. Look like, you know, some people have those big picture frame windows. So she had these big old picture frame window glasses. Who was supposed to be like a progressive when she was running for governor. She was a progressive. That's she tried to sell herself. But now, all of a sudden, she's anything but that. And then we have, I call him Grumpy, Senator Joe Manchin. Yes, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. A man who's become, he and his family, they have become millionaires. He is in the coal mining business in West Virginia, a state that is 93.5% white, a state that's only 3.6% black, a state that is 49th out of 50 states when it comes to poverty. Yes, the second to last poorest state in America, with a state that's got nearly 94% of its population white, who desperately need just child tax credit money to keep on coming. It has taken hundreds of thousands, if not millions, at least hundreds of thousands. I think it got less than 2 million people in the state. But it's probably take 93%, you can do the math. So it's probably taking close to 1 million people out of poverty in West Virginia, in a state that's that poor. And 93% of those people in the state are white. So those are poor white Americans. And your senator that looks like you does not give a damn about your poverty. He doesn't. He doesn't care about this child tax credit. He doesn't care about trying to support your elderly parents and grandparents. He doesn't want to support, he doesn't care about supporting President Biden, who wants to expand Medicare and Medicaid. So your elderly seniors, your elderly grandparents and parents that's getting Medicare, to increase the benefits so they can get some help in their home to come in and help them out. Food, cleaning up the house, the apartment, taking them to doctor's appointments, picking up their medicine, going grocery shopping for them. That help that you can't afford, it's essential. Or maybe just expand their Medicare coverage in general. No, he didn't want to do that. Why? Why would a man who's the governor and been the governor for years in the second poorest state in America not be jumping for joy to try to, yes, we need to continue. I need to work with President Biden, because this is President Biden's plan. He's the one that wants to make sure that everybody has universal pre-K. Every child has universal free pre-K education. He wants to make sure that the child tax credits that you see every month in your check, that they continue, that they don't end around December 15th. He wants you to be able to continue to get that money. He wants to make sure that your elderly parents or grandparents can get that nurse or housekeeper to come to your home and cook meals for your mom or your dad or your grandparents. Take them to the doctor. Take them to their doctor's appointment. Go pick up their medicine from the pharmacy. Pick up their groceries for them. Clean up the house for them. Sweep up, mop, dust, vacuum. He wants to do that. But then you got people out here worried about talking about, Oh, we don't want critical race theory to be taught in our schools. I'm going to say this again. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put it as I call it. I'm going to put it at street level, right here on the ground. You ain't got to look up. You ain't got to think. I'm going to just make it simple. Straight no chaser. Critical race theory is a class that is taught in law school. There's no critical race theory taught in any high school, middle school, elementary school. It's not even taught in undergrad, in college. It is taught in law school. And not a lot of law schools. Now, and what exactly is it? Critical race theory. I'm going to really because I've been explaining it, and I want to make it even easier to understand, because really the whole critical race theory class and curriculum that's taught in law school, it shows how white supremacy, the ideology of white supremacy intersected and influenced the laws that were written, especially right after the Civil War and before that. All your Jim Crow laws were rooted in white supremacy. That is the foundation of all your Jim Crow laws is white supremacy. All the laws that were written before the Civil War, when it came to black people, were rooted in white supremacy that allowed African descendants, for black people to be enslaved. And that's what critical race theory is. That's what they teach. And then some people say, well, I don't want to. Toni Morrison, they don't even know. They couldn't spell Toni Morrison if you spotted them to T-O-N and spelled Morrison out for them, M-O-R-R-I-O-S-O-N. And they just had to add one word, they couldn't spell it. They have no idea. They want to ban a book like Beloved by a Pulitzer Prize winning author. As a matter of fact, Miss Toni Morrison, rest in peace, power in paradise. She was, they called a Pulitzer laureate. That means she won the Pulitzer Prize for literature. One of the greatest authors in the history of books. And she wrote a book called Beloved. And the plot of Beloved is you had a former enslaved woman that had escaped. She had a baby daughter. But the thought of being caught, the thought of her and her baby girl being caught, and her baby girl being placed back into slavery, it's a heartbreaking story. Was so distraught, the mother couldn't deal with the possibility of her child being returned and placed back into slavery. So she killed her own child because the horrors of slavery were just too much for her to bear. And she did not want that for her child. And she'd rather take her own child's life than have the institution of slavery kill her daughter's spirit, her soul, her sanity, and maybe even take her own life one day. So when you hear people talk about, critical race, I don't know what critical race theory is, but I don't like it. So basically, you don't like the truth. You don't want the accurate truth about American history being taught. So you don't want any children to learn about the Civil War, and you don't want them to learn about the transatlantic slave trade. You don't want them to learn about the horrors of slavery, the lynching, the murders, the rape, the separation of families. Separating families. Why does that sound familiar? Gee, weren't we just doing that not too long ago, a couple years ago, separating families? You wonder where that came from? So you don't want your children, you don't want You don't want your, my innocent little white, my son was traumatized because he read this book. My son's a high school senior. He was traumatized because he read the story. Well, you know what? Sometimes trauma is a good thing. Feeling bad, or if you feel guilty, can be a good thing. Why? You say, no, how, Geno? How could you say that if a white child really learned the truth about slavery and American history, the trails of tears, how Native Americans, indigenous people, brothers and sisters, were taken off their land. Their land was taken from them in Florida and in Georgia and in Alabama. And then they were placed on reservations on a land that became Oklahoma. They were murdered, given blankets with smallpox. How the racism that the Chinese immigrants faced. I just need to get some water there. So why would that be? That would be horrible, right? You don't want them to learn that. No, you do. That's part of American history. If you're going to teach the history, you have to teach it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me give you an example. I remember I was, the first time I learned about the Holocaust. I was in elementary school. I went to school K through 8th grade, Nicholas Copernicus. We didn't have middle school. It was, like you said, you were in the school from kindergarten to 8th grade. And I can't remember exactly what year I first learned about the Holocaust. But when I did, I felt bad. I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. Now, black people did not engage. Black people were not Nazis. We didn't kill 6 million Jews. We didn't take them and place them in concentration camps and gas them and kill them in just inhuman and brutal ways. We didn't do that as black people. But as a human, I felt horrible. I was like, wow, how could any human being do that to another human being? That just doesn't make sense. So if your kids read a book like Beloved, or to read Alex Haley's book, Roots, remember that? It was a TV series way back in the 70s. And if your white child, or they read the 1619 Project to learn about, there's so many great books that teach about the horrors of slavery. And yes, the founding fathers, from George Washington to Thomas Jefferson, yes, they were great men in many ways, but they were flawed men. They all owned slaves. Andrew Jackson basically had the Native Americans exterminated, former president. These were flawed men. And they all the founding fathers were okay with slavery. They didn't abolish it. And really, President Lincoln was not an abolitionist. He wasn't against slavery initially, but he didn't want to lose the Civil War. And he was losing the Civil War until he allowed black men to join the Union Army. So if we're going to teach history, we have to teach it all, the good, the bad, and ugly. So why would it be good for some young white kid who learned about the horrors that this country engaged in? This is why it would be good. The same reason why it was good for me to learn about the Holocaust. So I could grow up to make sure that I could do everything that I could to make sure that we as human beings never were ever that inhumane and cruel to another group of people that didn't look like me or who didn't believe in the same or pray to the same God that I prayed to. So I would hope that any young white child who learned about the atrocities of slavery and the basically the genocide of Native Americans will be like, wow, yeah, I do feel bad about that. Now, what am I going to do with those feelings? I'm going to make sure I do everything I can that I and people that look like me never treat another group of people like that ever again. So President Biden, on this election day, let me just say this. Joe Manchin is not your friend. I know you've known him for a long time and you guys have had lunch and, you know, you've been cordial, but listen, here's the bottom line. He is not your friend. He is sabotaging your presidency. He doesn't want you to win. It is clear. He is a millionaire. He has made his millions in the coal industry. So all the people, all the big money donors, the coal, oil, and gas industry that's been giving his campaign hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars over the course of I don't know how many years. He does not have your interest. He doesn't have the interest of people that look like me or my family. He doesn't even have the interest of the people in his state, 93.5% of them that look just like him. He doesn't have their interest. He doesn't have their best interest in mind, unless they're millionaires. He doesn't care about a state that is 49th out of 50 states when it comes to poverty. So please understand, Joe Manchin is not your friend. He is not. So this is what I would encourage you to do. I would encourage you to have an address the nation, like a State of the Union without the Congress. Just you, the American people, look in that camera and say, my fellow Americans, I need you to help me help you. You know what I want to do for you? I want to continue to make sure that those that are getting the $250 to $300 every month per child, the child tax credits that has taken millions of children and their families out of poverty, that allow families now to have enough money to pay all their bills on time, that allows their family to make sure they have enough groceries and medicine to last for the entire month without borrowing money and getting into further debt, that wants to make sure that your elderly mom and dad, your elderly grandparents have the home health care assistants to come in, the nurses and the home health care aides to come in and to cook a meal or to mop the kitchen or to clean up the house or to take your elderly parent or grandparent, take them to their doctor's appointment or take them to get their medicine or go with them to get their groceries, or to make sure that your 3 or 4-year-old will have pre-K, free education, that your 3 or 4-year-old can start school early, can get a true head start by going to school. Regardless, I should say, there's no irregardless, regardless of how much money you do or don't have. So I need you to call your senators. You can just type in your zip code and Google search, who is my United States Senator? It is that easy to find. And it starts with a 202 area code. But find it. If you can't Google it, if you don't have a phone, if you don't know how to Google it, have your son or your daughter, your niece or your nephew, have your grandkids Google it for you. Say, hey, baby, who is my U.S. Senator? I need their phone number. And who is my U.S. House of Representative member? Who represents me in the House, the United States House of Representatives? Type in, Google it. Give them your address or your zip code, and you'll find out. And you need to blow their phone up and tell them that this is President Biden's plan to make sure that people can continue to get the child tax credit money, that extra $250 or $300 a month per child, to make sure that your elderly parent gets the assistance in their home or apartment that they need. The universal pre-K that would benefit your child or benefit your grandchild. Joe Manchin is trying to sabotage President Biden's presidency, and he wants to get, especially my brothers and sisters, Black America, I'm talking to you right now, along with, like I said, the Latinx community, my anti-racist white folks out there too. He wants you to get pissed off and disenfranchised, like, I just ain't gonna vote no more. Why bother? No, you need to vote in larger numbers. We had a guy named Jamie Harrison who almost beat Lindsey Graham here in South Carolina. Now, like I said, my guest yesterday, State Representative Crystal Matthews, she is running to beat Tim Scott. She is going to be our next United States Senator, the first Black woman ever elected senator here in the state of South Carolina. We have a woman named Mia McLeod that's going to be the first Black woman governor in the state of South Carolina. Oh, I know y'all think I'm crazy. All right, people thought it was crazy did you think it was crazy that a dude named Barack Hussein Obama, could become the president of the United States? It's crazy until it happens. It's crazy until it ain't crazy. Why not? We got Val Demings, already in the United States House of Representatives, almost became the vice president, running to be the U.S. Senator, one of the U.S. Senators in Florida. Got a brother named Malcolm Kenyatta, just running to be in the United States Senate in Pennsylvania. You got another brother named Mandela Barnes, who's running to be a U.S. Senator out of the state of Wisconsin. So if we had more people in the United States Senate like that, then President Biden's, this is his agenda. Joe Manchin, this is not your agenda, dude. You are not the president of the United States. You barely got reelected in West Virginia. So Joe Manchin's got it twisted like a pretzel. So how do we get around Joe? How do you help President Biden help you? How do I help President Biden help me? Help my family, help my mother, my elderly mother. Help my nieces and nephews who have young families by making sure we get more people in 2022 as senators, as governors in the House of Representatives that will pass his agenda for all the people, not just some of them, not just the ones that look like me, not just my Latinx, Afro-Latino brothers and sisters, not my Asian American brothers and sisters, not just my white brothers and sisters, and even the ones who wouldn't ever call me a brother or sister. Even the MAGA cult crew. These policies will benefit them. And they'll say, F President Biden, and on the 15th, they will gladly spend that child tax credit money that they're receiving because of President Biden. Now, I'm going to tell it like it T.I. is. So, man, listen, blow up these phones and vote. Don't let, because I'm going to close by saying this, Lord, y'all mess around, get disenfranchised and lose hope if you want to. That's exactly what they want you to do. That's what Orange Hitler wants you to do. And this whole concept, this made-up construct and concept of race was made up. I've been telling you that I've been doing this show for a year. It was made up way back in the 17th century by a small handful of powerful Europeans that had to figure out a way, how can we divide and conquer? How can we put this one group of these poor and working class Europeans, and somehow we gotta distract them because they'll never have the wealth and power. We don't even like them, but we gotta find an enemy. We gotta make them think that somebody else is the reason that they can't progress in life. So let's demonize these dark people on this dark continent, and let's make them think that they're better than those dark folks. And then we can do what the hell we want to do. We can go ahead and continue to pass laws and have policies and rule over everybody. and keep and generate more money just for the small handful of us with all the wealth and power, political, economic, and social power, and let them fight among themselves. Let them hate it. Just create this whole, something called race. Come up with this concept of white supremacy, where white is right. We're the pure race. Everything white is good. White knight. Everything black is bad. Black magic. The banana in the tailpipe. That was a scene on Eddie Murphy's, one of his movies, Beverly Hills Cop. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't fall for the con. That's just a phrase for a con. Somebody's running a con on you. They're trying to con you out of your power, out of your vote, out of your money, out of your sanity. Do not fall for it. Black folks, understand. Don't be mad at President Biden. Be mad that we didn't get more senators in the United States Senate. So we would have, the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act would have been passed. Voting Rights Act would have been, John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Our vote would be protected. Child tax credits would be permanent. Universal pre-K would already be here. More people would have health care if President Biden had more support. And the only way he can get that support is from us. And for us not to fall for the con, for the banana in the tailpipe, for the bait and switch, for the 3-card money. Here it is. Where is it? Oh, it's here. Oh, no, it's here. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's not there. It's over here. Don't fall for the con. Don't be discouraged. This is chess, not checkers. And this MAGA cult and the folks that are using that whole MAGA cult mentality, who storm the Capitol, who say it's okay to use violence to overthrow the government. Can you imagine if a bunch of black folks showed up to the United States Capitol and broke windows and was chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," and built a gallows? Man, they would have shot them down on sight. That insurrection would have lasted about 3 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. You kidding me? Man, you better wake up. So President Biden, Joe Manchin is not your friend, dude. All right, I don't know how you're going to do it. Stop playing around. Talk to the American people. Ask them, plead with them. Ask them, say, American people, help me help you. Help me help you. Make these senators, let them know. Blow their phones up, Google those numbers, and then whatever you got to do, President Biden, by executive order, do it, write it, sign it, let them take you to court. Use the power that we gave you. Use it or lose it, because you can't lose it. And if you lose the power, and God help us, if Orange Hitler ever gets back in that White House, it's a wrap. Your democracy, you can kiss it. You can bend over and kiss your democracy like you kissing your behind. Kiss it goodbye. Because if you think Orange Hitler was off the chain from 2016 to 2020, woohoo! You ain't seen nothing yet. This dude will be on a revenge tour like you have never seen. Whites, listen, you won't even see the United States flag. They'll be flying a Confederate flag on top of the White House if this dude gets back in office. I said it and I meant it, because it's true. He is the face of white nationalism and racism and misogyny and sexism. And he is like, they call it an avatar. Like, on Twitter, the little picture, they call it when you go to your main page, they call it an avatar. He is like the face, the symbol of racism in all of its forms. Subtle, and now it's not even subtle. They don't even say the quiet part. They say the quiet part out loud. As a matter of fact, there is no quiet part. Be as hateful, as racist, as violent, because they feel, oh, my white privilege, I don't have to obey the laws. Like this dude, he feels he doesn't have to obey the law because the laws don't apply to him because he's a white man. That's his attitude. But the law does apply to him. The law applies to him. So how can we make sure that happens? But make sure that you don't get discouraged. And that, please, man, you got to vote. I don't know how these elections are going to turn out. I don't know what's going to happen in Virginia. New Jersey, I'm pretty confident that their governor, Democrat, is going to be reelected. You're going to have an African-American man mayor of New York City. You're going to have the first woman of color mayor in Boston. Just wake up. President Biden, Joe Manchin, he is not your friend. It is clear. He is not even trying to hide it. His number one goal is to sabotage your presidency. And in the meantime, he is sabotaging all of us. He is threatening the child tax credit money for millions of families, the universal pre-K for millions of children, the home health care support for millions of our seniors and our parents and grandparents. All right. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. All right, I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. Tell everybody you know to subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. Please share this and every episode and like every episode. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Shout out to Bruce Gage and Alexandria Jones, the official wardrobe consultants and stylists for the Geno Jones Show. Check them both out on Instagram, Bruce Gage. Just search Bruce Gage, G-A-G-E, and Alexandria Jones _ It's _ line at the bottom, Lexi, L-E-X-X-I-E, space, Nicole Designs. And finally, very special birthday wish to Miss Allie Jones, my baby girl. She turns 20 today. 20 years ago today, man, my life changed. It changed forever. And when the nurse handed me my baby girl, and to watch her grow up to become this beautiful, brilliant, badass black woman, powerful, brilliant, smart, supermodel, America's next top model, the next superstar fashion designer. She's a fashion design major at my alma mater, Columbia College, Chicago, who anything that she does, anything that she puts her mind to, she's not good at it. She's great at it. She excels. Ice skate, roller skate, swim, model, was a child prodigy on the runway at 13. Now, just an amazing fashion designer. But she's an even better daughter, sister, niece, granddaughter. And I love her more than life itself. Daddy loves you so much, baby girl. I am so, so proud of you. You are my inspiration. You are. I could not have dreamed that God would have gifted me with a daughter like you and your sister. So, happy birthday. Happy 20th birthday. Let's have a great birthday, okay? No, I'm not going to embarrass you. I'll save the tears for later. I'm going to smile now. I got to get out of here, everybody. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And until then, I got one more thing I got to say. Please, everybody, be blessed. Thanks for watching. Happy birthday, Allie. Happy birthday, baby girl. Daddy loves you. Mwah. Mwah.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.